Hello everyone, I am cryptorenzi and this is your channel for Bitcoin and crypto news. And today we have an amazing video that you're going to want to stay for till the end. This is a super important one. I'm going to unpack for you what BlackRock is up to, especially with their Bitcoin ETF, how it affects you, and every single thing you need to hear about it. Without further ado, let's jump in. All right, I put a lot of time into this video with research and studying. And as I tell you, peering into the future and trying to figure out what's going on here. And I uncovered some pretty interesting stuff, in my opinion. And I believe you're going to want to hear this. So for those of you on the fence about Bitcoin, for those of you who already have your bags filled and you're excited, you are definitely going to want to hear this because this is a different take I haven't heard anyone really talk about before. And this is all my opinion, not financial advice. But as I say, peer into the future and look around. There's no question about it. Larry Fink does this and did it quite well. And let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, first we're going to look at the 2023 mid-year outlook that BlackRock issues to its investors. I read this every time it comes out, and this is quite interesting because when I tell you to read between the lines, you really need to read between the lines. So what I'm going to do for you is go over the important points of this article, show you how they're talking about Bitcoin without actually talking about Bitcoin. And then I'm going to explain to you exactly what they're doing, in my opinion, and how this is going to revolutionize the financial industry. So what I want to do is get down to the themes. So here we go. Theme 1, holding tight. So let's just look at the bottom line. Okay, so we see significant investment opportunities in the new regime. They are about finding granular opportunities within asset classes and not relying on the macro environment. Okay, so let's go ahead and head down to theme 2. Okay, theme 2, pivoting to new opportunities. Broad asset class exposure will no longer deliver the returns of the past, we think. Investors may find opportunities by getting more granular. There's that word again, granular. And for those of you who may not know what that means, it's just finely detailed. So it's really looking deep in the layers of finding a better investment. Hint, hint, Bitcoin, right? Blockchain technology. Okay, let's dig a little deeper and let's look at theme number 3. Now this one I find super interesting because if you remember a few videos back when I did how Bitcoin and blockchain technology is going to be the 7th technological revolution of the world, isn't it funny how BlackRock is basically showing this chart of U.S. technology adoption since the 1900s. They didn't go back as far as I did to 1760 with the revolutionary technology, but this is interesting how they're showing a similar process here. Electricity, telephones, automobiles, color TVs, VCR, cell phones, smartphones. Again, finishing with smartphones, right? Which is basically my little supercomputers, which is number 6 on the list. And 7 is going to be blockchain technology. So again, you have to understand BlackRock is the largest financial institution of the world. Many multi-trillions of dollars. They have AUM, assets under management. And I find this pretty interesting how they're speaking of Bitcoin, if you're intelligent enough to read between the lines without necessarily doing it. They're propping their investors to start to think differently. There's even talk about AI in here, talking about ChatGPT. And let's go to the next part I want to show you. This one's interesting. Okay. Mega forces, future of finance. I found this quite fascinating. This is going to tie in deeper into the story of Bitcoin and what BlackRock is actually looking to do. So before I read this, I want you to look at this chart. Okay, this is showing bank deposits drastically going down and money flowing into money market funds. Like I told you in the beginning, the whole purpose of Bitcoin is to protect your equity, right? To protect your money, protect your fiat money, protect your US dollar, no matter what it may be in, because US dollars, if you live in America, is based on everything, right? The value of your home, your stock account, portfolio, everything, right? T-bills, whatnot. Well, here, if you just leave your money in the bank account and you earn no interest, then you're losing roughly 7 to 8% a year just from inflation. But if you put it in a money market fund, on average, you're earning about 5, maybe 5.5%, depending on how much money you have in it. So here you're only losing 2%. But either way you're losing, right? That's why Bitcoin is so important. That's why you need Bitcoin. And trust me when I tell you, the people at BlackRock are geniuses. And for those of you that may think you're smarter than them, I would ask you to reconsider, because Larry Fink pays an insane amount of money to hire the best people he can find in the world to do this type of research. They're spending unbelievable hours researching Bitcoin, understanding everything there's to know about blockchain technology, and making sure they get ahead of this. There's a reason they're buying all the Bitcoin they can purchase right now. Now, I want to pause there for a second and let you know I've opened my merchandise store. So I actually have my water bottle here. That way you guys can see it. And I actually have my mouse pad right here. So I have some cool merch that I've made. A lot of you have asked for it by request, and I greatly appreciate it. And just so you know, everything I do, it's a one-man band. I make all my videos, all my production, sound engineering, video quality, the whole 9 yards, video editing. I do everything myself. So for those of you that support me or looking for a way to support the channel, I greatly appreciate you. And just to show you quickly in the store, if you go to my website, cryptorenzi.com, I have a store icon here for you. And everything you would like to see is in here. All these products were hand selected and made, and hopefully you will enjoy them. Even got something for the cute puppy dog. Yep. And have some women's workout clothes, men apparel, a little bit something for everything, and even worked hard on making this bikini for you ladies, because we need to get more women in crypto, right? So let's work hard on that. So now I want to talk about what BlackRock is up to. You may or may not have heard of ESG. ESG simply means investing in a way that considers a company's environmental, social, and governance profile. Okay, now whether you are into that stuff or not, that's not the purpose of this video. But BlackRock is heavily invested in it. They have a lot of their top investors' money in these products, and these products have not done well. They've been averaging like 5 to 7% a year, and I can promise you these investors are not happy about this. So stay with me as I start to unpeel the onion on what I believe BlackRock is up to. Okay, so BlackRock was the only company who was able to purchase forest land when they started ESG credits or carbon credits. So interesting how they were the only ones who were able to do this. And they were trying to make this stance about how important ESG was. And even though Larry Fink was on record a few months ago saying it's not important to him anymore, we all know that's a bunch of bunk because he has too many investors tied up into this stuff. Now, what's interesting is KPMG, which is another financial institution, just came out and said how Bitcoin is ESG friendly. How perfect is this now for BlackRock and Larry Fink? What's going to happen is Larry Fink is going to start pushing Bitcoin and as being ESG friendly. Okay. And he has the media in his pocket, and he's eventually going to have BlackRock start pushing all this to their outlet channels. So this way, the media is going to start pumping into everybody's television and home about how Bitcoin is now ESG friendly. Okay. And that's going to take these measly 5 to 7% gains and push them up to 20 to 30% roughly, because all the big money inside of BlackRock is going to now flood into this Bitcoin ETF. And don't kid yourself for a second if you don't think BlackRock is buying as much Bitcoin as they possibly can right now. You have to understand, these wealthy people, when they see 7% or 27%, hey, I'm going to jump in 27%. And I want to do it with less headache. I don't care so much about fees. Heck, that's why I'm with BlackRock to begin with. I want the largest money manager in the world to handle my funds. So what they're going to do, there's nothing more sexy and attractive to them than an ETF. And for those of you that don't know, it's just simply an exchange traded fund. So think of it as a basket. You put the Bitcoin in, BlackRock controls it, you buy a piece of it, but you pay a fee to have a part of it. And you already may be wondering, well, Renzi, what's your stance? Those of us who just hold Bitcoin by ourselves and, the heck with BlackRock. Well, I hear you, and I'm definitely going to talk heavy on that on the end. But just so you know, of course, you're always better off holding your own Bitcoin. And I'm going to explain deeper into that later on in the video. First, BlackRock is working on the ETF. Secondly, then they're going to start pushing the ESG agenda. Then they're already starting to do this right now. They're starting to buy up all the miners, right? Because they want to build their infrastructure. They want to make sure they are leading the pack and no one else has a chance to do what their ultimate goal is going to be. And that's basically to restructure the empire of the US dollar. Yes, you heard me. And that's coming. Now, this might not be something you see in 5 to 10 years because there's going to be a ton of infrastructure that has to go into place. This may be more like a 15 or 20 or 25-year plan, but don't kid yourself. It's coming. It's going to happen. And that's how Bitcoin is going to truly revolutionize this world. But guess what? For all of those of you who just care about, oh, when's my bags going to pump? That won't take as long. When you hear how I'm going to show you how money's going to flood into the market, don't kid yourself. The price of Bitcoin is going to continue to skyrocket. Where this is going to get massive is the banks, the financial institutions have to come into this somehow. And how's that going to work? Well, BlackRock is going to have so much money inside this Bitcoin ETF that they are going to allow you to borrow against it, to live on. Because remember, I've been saying this for a while, and even though no one's doing it just yet, I'm telling you, this is how it's going to work. And I know there's going to be other companies like Fidelity. I know Fidelity's talked about this as well. But BlackRock is trying to lead the front. They're trying to cut everyone off at the pass. They're trying to amass the largest amount of Bitcoin anyone has in the ETF. And they are going to just really try to control this. So stay with me on what I'm saying. So you have a massive ETF. You have all these wealthy people dumping their money into it to make it larger and larger and larger, which is going to make the price continue to skyrocket. Then they're going to set up an institution to where you can borrow against your Bitcoin. And then what you're going to do with your money, you're going to obviously put it in the bank because it has to go into fiat so you can spend it and live on. And the banks now are going to be happy because they're going to get to borrow against your money. And this is going to be a rinse and repeat cycle at a massive level. So let me just take a second so you could comprehend what I just said. Okay? It's very important how this is going to rinse and repeat, and it's going to grow. Think of a pebble rolling down a hill, picking up snow as it's going down, how large it is at the bottom. Again, BlackRock has all this figured out. Don't think they're doing this just to privately, have something for their investors or institutional investors. It's not the case. They're literally trying to, for lack of a better phrase, take over the world here financially. And they're going to partner with these banks. And this is going to be massive, people, massive. So for those of you on the fence with Bitcoin, I don't know how much clearer I can be when I tell you, you need to get what you want to have now or forever hold your peace. Not financial advice, but my goodness, how much more proof do you need? How much more stuff do you need to see? Do you really think you're smarter than BlackRock? Do you really think you're smarter than Larry Fink and all of the people that work under him that are paid exceptionally well? Again, do you have any idea how much $1 trillion is? They have multiple trillions of dollars assets under management. They have the smartest people in the world working for them. They're going to try to corner the market. You have a chance right now to not have to deal with that. Because you can not pay fees by owning Bitcoin privately. And then you don't have to deal with, I missed the boat, so let me just, pay some exorbitant fee to BlackRock to deal with this. You have a chance to rewrite your financial destiny right now. But if you're waiting for comfort, it's not going to happen. If you're waiting for a smooth ride, it's not going to happen. But let me go a little deeper. Let me really peer into your, pierce your soul here. I like to talk by analogies. For any of you who may be messed up in life, right? Maybe money was stolen from you. You did some bad deals. Maybe you gambled too much. You had a bad divorce. Whatever the case may be, You bought too many vehicles, right? You shouldn't have purchased, whatever. This is your chance to right all those wrongs. For all of you who, I don't want to strike any chords here, but my goal is to wake you guys up. Maybe for anyone who's feeling sorry for themselves, or anyone who feels they missed an opportunity, or they never had a fair shake in life, or they were dealt bad cards, or how many times you hear this, right? Oh, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Well, guess what? You have the whole lemonade factory in front of you if you want. This is your chance, people. Hear me when I tell you this is your chance. This is the greatest time to be alive, to create financial opportunity, to create financial wealth for yourself beyond imagination. And don't listen to me. Don't believe me. Believe someone like Larry Fink, right? Believe these people with trillions and trillions of dollars, because they're not stupid. You think they want to lose all that money? The crystal ball is getting as clear as possible to see what's going on here. And I understand it might be a little confusing on the deeper end of how the banks are going to tie into this and how the borrowing of the money is going to happen, but that's what's going to happen. They're all going to come into this together. They're all going to grease each other's palms, and it's going to be this huge cylindrical effect of profit over here, over profit, over profit, over profit. And you're going to be somewhere in the middle of it. But for all of those of you like me who hold Bitcoin privately in cold storage wallets with seed phrase protectors made out of titanium and stainless steel, we are ready. We are ready for the best future ever. And I want you to think about that for a second. And I'm going to leave you with one final analogy. If we moved to another planet, just stay with me for a second. Go to another planet. What's the first thing you're going to ask? Right? You're going to talk about some type of money or currency, right? Because you're going to need money. You have to buy food, substance, home, whatever. You need money or whatever form of currency they use. What if they told you we have two forms of currency? We have a paper money, and then we have this ultimate pinnacle currency, but it's super scarce and very few people can get their hands on it. But if you can find some, you can purchase as little of it as you would like. Now, I want you to honestly look me in the eye or look at yourself in the mirror and tell me you wouldn't be intrigued and you wouldn't want to buy that. And on top of it, let's make it more enticing. On top of it, again, remember, we're on a new planet. The person you're speaking to is telling you that the largest investment company on that planet is buying up as much of this asset as they can. Are you still not going to try to get some? Just let that sink in for a second, people. That's Bitcoin. I mean, is it going to kill you? Put $100 in. Put $1,000 in it. Put it in a cold storage wallet, pick it up, leave it alone. Done. I'm trying so hard to make this point clear because this window is rapidly closing. You don't have money like Larry Fink does. You don't have trillions of dollars to throw at this stuff. I mean, he bought, we don't know who it was, but we believe that $3 billion purchase 2.5 weeks ago was BlackRock. Again, billion with a B. So that's all cash, all fiat, just dumped over the OTC market to purchase Bitcoin. That wasn't purchased like on Coinbase account that you and I see, because that would have, caused the price to shoot up like crazy. They do this stuff institutional wise behind the doors, so it doesn't, cause the price to move too much. But that's not going to be the case forever. And Bitcoin is drying up. I've been telling this to people. I really feel you only have a few years left to buy Bitcoin. I think in 3 or 4 years, it's going to be so scarce, you might be surprised. And by then, the price is going to be quite a bit higher. We're going to be well into 6 figures in 3 or 4 years. From some of the math I've been doing, looking at the halving cycle, looking at the scarcity of Bitcoin, there's not going to be that much left, people. And don't think Larry Fink and BlackRock's not seeing it. They have bought into the scarcity at a high level, at an unprecedented level. And they are basing everything on this new system that they're coming up with. And I think it's genius. You can't, whether you love BlackRock or hate them, you can't stop what they're doing. But if for some reason you don't like them and you want to try to outsmart them or get ahead of them, then you have to buy Bitcoin on your own and hold it. That's less fees you're going to pay. But remember, people, this is your chance to right any wrongs you've done in life. This is your chance if you have a job you hate, if you feel unfulfilled in life, if you feel you don't have purpose in life, if you feel you wish you would have studied harder in school, or you could have changed careers, or whatever it may be. This is your chance. You may not get another chance in your lifetime. And I know for a fact you're never going to get another financial opportunity like this in your lifetime. I'll let that one resonate in your brain for a while. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for staying till the end. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and check out these latest videos to help you on your crypto journey.